Makes no difference what you're going through. You're gonna make it. God's gonna see you through. Hold your head up. Put a smile on your face. This is another test. It won't last always. So get ready. Get ready for your blessing. For your blessing. Get ready. Get ready for your miracle. For your miracle. Get ready for your blessing. For your blessing. Get ready. Get ready for your miracle. For your miracle. I know you've been hurting deep down inside.
Welcome back to HERside Conversations, a safe space where we talk healing, truth, and the power of women voices. I'm your host, Marketia. Today's episode is one that's close to so many hearts. We're talking about domestic abuse, how it shows up, how it silences, and most importantly, how women find the strength to rise above it. I'm not alone in this conversation. I'm joined by two incredible women, Marshea and Nichella, who are both here to share their perspective, their truth, and their courage. Before we begin, I want to give a gentle reminder this conversation may be triggering for some listeners. Please take care of yourself while you listen, and remember, you are not alone. So let's start here. When people hear domestic abuse, a lot of folks immediately think physical violence, but abuse comes in many forms. Marshea, when you hear that word abuse, what comes to mind?
Like you said, the most well-known form of abuse comes in physical form, but when I think of abuse, I think of mental abuse, I think of emotional abuse, I think of financial abuse, even, sometimes some people go as far as spiritual abuse. So I look at it from a different perspective where there's multiple pieces that contribute to one big thing.
Perfect. Yes, that's so powerful because sometimes people don't recognize abuse unless it leaves physical scars. So that's perfect and well said. Listen, abuse is anything that strips away your freedom, safety, or self worth. And naming it is the first step towards healing. A lot of women stay silent because of shame, fear, or even love. Marshea, can you talk about what that silence felt like for you or for women that you've known in other situations?
I can't speak for everyone, but what I can say is from my own perspective and from people that are very close to me, and we've shared similar stories. It feels like you have something so valuable taken away from you, and it's crippling. And it's like you want your strength, you want to fight, but you don't know how. That feeling and having to be vulnerable within that feeling, it's a lot, and that tears a lot of people down. I know for myself specifically, that was a major thing for me. How do you fight someone, but you don't have the strength to do it, even though mentally you want to fight it, but you just can't. Like, all on top of having everything else taken from you, your peace, your sanity, your safety, you have things taken away from you, and then you're left with a crippling feeling. So that's just it's sickening and it's disheartening. Um,
Yeah.
that's how that felt for me.
Thank you for being so open. That silence can feel heavy, almost like it's protecting you, but it's really protecting the abuser. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think it's important that we say this out loud. Leaving isn't always easy and it isn't always safe. So instead of asking, why didn't she leave? We probably should be asking, how can we support her if she wants to leave? Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely. I agree.
Does anybody want to elaborate on any part of that, like support, anything like that?
I would say for any woman that is going through this, or just anyone in general, not just women, but anybody that's going through any type of abuse, don't be afraid to ask for help, because that for me, that was a big thing, asking for help, because I didn't want, like Ella said, to feel judged. More importantly, I felt scared for my own safety, because I'm like, if I leave, will the abuse be worse than what I, while I'm just staying here not doing anything? So I would definitely say always ask for help, never be ashamed. Um, if you are in immediate danger, absolutely call the police, 911, get someone safe, local community agencies that help domestic abuse survivors, therapy, whatever that looks like for you, whatever support that you need, get it. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
For sure. And I get that part. When we're talking about asking for help, Marche, I guess I'll start with you. Did you kind of have like people that you could talk to about it right away while you were in the midst of maybe your trials and tribulations going through that? Or did you just feel completely isolated and alone and just had to go through it and endure it by yourself?
I felt isolated and alone. And what's crazy is because my abuser made me feel that way, but also myself because I isolated myself because I care about my family so much and I didn't want to drag the people that I love. So I chose to suffer in silence. Um, and I can't for anyone else, but only for myself, my experience. Me suffering in silence was the worst thing ever because of all the personal work that I had to do within myself to rebuild myself back up from that. So yeah, that's my look.
Yeah, so you almost didn't even have like a safe space to have an outlet or talk to somebody about it because you just didn't want to drag them into the midst of what you had going on.
Correct. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you guys for sharing that because I know that that could probably be hard and not only hard but triggering. So I do think that the both of you are 100% brave and I just thank you for the pieces that we have started to talk about anyhow. Let's talk about breaking free from that silence that we were talking about previously. What was the turning point for you or something that helped you begin to speak out? Marche, we could start with you.
I will let the listeners know that this is a trigger warning. The turning point for me is when my abuser chose to physically strangle me to death. I wanted to leave. I told him, I said, hey, we're not working out. So let's, just be adults and, acknowledge that we did what we could. It still didn't work out. So we need to walk away from it. He didn't feel that way. In his eyes, I was his property. I belonged to him. And leaving was never a choice.
Mm,
And I was told that if you want to leave me, the only way you'll leave me is the grave.
wow.
Um,
I'm so sorry that happened.
Thank you. So yeah, that's just I've been through a lot. Um, but that was definitely the turning point for me. Having someone to stand over me and almost try to take my life from me. That's how I knew like I didn't want to ever experience that. I would never want to put the people that I love through that. I don't have any children, but I just think about if I would have kids, then that could have been a point where my child would have been without a mother or
Yeah,
having kids that experience or witness things like that. So I chose to get myself out of that because that's not a life that I want to live. That's no life that no one should ever have to live.
yeah, for sure. Okay. That was so powerful, ladies. And I think it reminds our listeners that healing does not look the same for everyone. Um, some take years, some find strength in community, in faith, or in therapy. The point is this, though: your voice matters, even if it shakes. It still counts, ladies and gentlemen, because I do not want to dismiss our gentlemen out there who may be tuning in and listening with us. Just speaking about the move forward point, what steps did you guys take, like, or corrective actions to try to recuperate your life or your lifestyle that you had before that man or woman or whatever the case is, Um, was it therapy? Was it like, how was the journey along the way? Because as we know, healing is not a linear um, journey. It really is all over the place. So, what did that look like for you guys? Was it just straightforward therapy? Was there times where you just found yourself back in the same situation? What did that look like?
For me, before I chose the resources, I was in a stage of denial. I guess I was kind of living in my own fantasy. Sometimes we hear people use the phrase that, oh, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
And I forced myself to take comfort in that. But after having that physical altercation, I knew that I didn't want to live my life like that. And so when I started my healing journey, it was quite ugly. I have to be all the way honest. I chose to take myself to therapy, but I was one of those people that had the stereotypical mindset about therapy, like, oh, especially being in a black woman, in the black community, therapy is so taboo. And I'm thankful, that as years progress on, people are now more open to it than what they once were. But I was one of those people like, I'm not going to therapy. I'm just gonna pray about it and hopefully it'll get better. But I really had to step back and assess the situation to see that something had happened to me that has never happened before, and I didn't have the tools and the necessary coping skills to deal with it. And so I had to put my ego to the side and say, I need to go talk to someone, that's not family or doesn't know my situation personally, that had to have that unbiased opinion to say, hey, this is not okay. And you did nothing wrong, because I was one of those people that tried to convince myself that I was always doing something wrong to make him do what he did to me. And in all actuality, I never did anything. I was just trying to move on with my life, and he just wasn't having it. Um, so my healing journey, it was very rough. I'm still in the process of it, but I've made some very, very, very good progress. I have a better understanding of things. I know my therapist talk all the time. We have a little saying where we say name it. And so I find myself doing that a lot more in my life now. Especially, so when I'm dating, to look for those red flags that I once seen before. So I know that I need to
Yeah.
avoid certain things. So that's
Thank
just that.
you. I would like to ask you both, during your journeys or during your time, what gave you hope? Because I know that may have been like a dark place for you, but like, what gave you hope?
Repeat it one more time.
So through all of this stuff, through all of your journey, what gives you hope?
What gave me hope is, I would say, my family first. And, I also think about other women that are my age or might be older than me or maybe older than me, that might be going through what I went through or experiencing something like it. Um, and so I chose to prove to myself to take back my strength from my abuser is to be a mouthpiece for domestic violence, in whatever form that may look like. Um, I found that I take my power back when I speak out about what. I remember the days where I suffered in silence, and I don't want to live my life like that anymore. And so that's what gives me hope, is to to be a vessel, I guess, if you will, to inspire others, let people know that, hey, I've been through this and I made it, I can make it out too.
Perfect. Nichella, what about you? What gives you hope?
For me, I definitely gonna say family, and then also fighting back, standing up for yourself and speaking about it, and not letting that abuser take that power, from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it may happen, but you can't never take my voice from it. You can never take my dignity about what happened. Because God don't put us through these things, for nothing. You know, we could handle it, and and this is a testimony, that I hope that it do reach somebody.
Absolutely. And that's why we're doing this. So that's so beautiful. And for the women listening who may still be in the place of pain, I want you to hear this. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are worthy of safety, love, and peace. To every survivor listening, we breathe with you. Your scars are proof that you endured, but they are not your identity. Healing is possible, and you are not alone. Marshea, Nichella, thank you both for your honesty, your strength, and for sharing pieces of your journey. To our listeners, if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic abuse, please reach out. In the U.S., the National Domestic Violence Hotline is available at 1-800-799-7233, or you can text START to 88788. Help is there, and you do not have to walk this alone. Thank you for joining me for this important episode of HERside Conversations. Until next time, remember, your healing matters, your voice matters, and your her side of the story deserves to be heard.
Makes no difference what you're going through. You're gonna make it. God's gonna see you through. Hold your head up. Put a smile on your face. This is another test. It won't last always. So get ready. Get ready for your blessing. For your blessing. Get ready. Get ready for your miracle. For your miracle. Get ready. For your blessing. For your blessing. Get ready. Get ready for your miracle. For your miracle. Listen, I know you've been hurting.